Have you ever found yourself in this situation? You're on a high-stakes date, or maybe sitting in the dream job interview you've always wanted. You've prepared everything to perfection. Your hair is neat, your clothes are crisp, and in your head, you have a flawless script for every possible question. You want to prove that you are smart, sharp, and absolutely bulletproof. And then, disaster strikes. Maybe you accidentally knock a glass of water onto the table. Maybe you catch your foot on a chair leg and stumble. Or maybe you just flub a simple word right in the middle of waxing poetic about your life philosophy. In that moment, it feels like the world is crumbling. Your face burns hot. Your heart pounds in your chest. You just want the ground to open up and swallow you whole. Inside your head, the judgmental voice screams, "Well, that's it. I just ruined everything. They're going to think I'm clumsy and incompetent." But hold on. Take a deep breath and listen to this. The truth is, that mortifying moment might actually be when you made your strongest impression. The moment you dropped the act of perfection might be the exact moment the person across from you felt more fond of you than ever. Welcome back to Psychovive. Today, we aren't talking about how to be perfect. We are going to talk about a fascinating psychological paradox that will completely change how you view your own mistakes. It's called the Pratfall Effect. Why do scratches make a gem more precious? Why is clumsiness sometimes the ultimate weapon of attraction? Let's dive deep into the human mind with Psychovive to decode this mystery. To understand this, we need to travel back in time to 1966 at the University of Minnesota. Social psychologist Elliot Aronson, one of the titans of the field, conducted an experiment that turned the concept of attraction upside down. Imagine you are a student participating in this experiment. You are asked to listen to a recording of someone taking a highly stressful quiz. In scenario 1, the contestant answers brilliantly. They get 92% of the questions right. Their voice is confident. Their knowledge is vast, a model of success and intellect. In scenario 2, it's that same brilliant person. They still get 92% of the questions right. But at the end of the recording, a blunder occurs. You hear a clatter, a gasp, "Oh my God," and the shattering of a coffee cup. This genius has just clumsily spilled coffee all over their suit right on the air. "I just spilled coffee on my new suit," they admit awkwardly. Now, the question for you is, who do you like more? The flawless person in scenario 1, or the genius but clumsy coffee spiller in scenario 2? Aronson's results were earth-shattering. The group of students rated the person who spilled the coffee as more likable, more attractive, and much more approachable than the absolutely perfect person. This is the Pratfall Effect. Basically, it states, if you are a competent person, making a small mistake doesn't lower your value. It actually makes you more attractive in the eyes of others. But why does our brain work in such a weird way? Why are we drawn to the messy rather than the pristine? There are 3 deep psychological reasons behind this phenomenon that Psychovive wants you to take to heart. Reason number 1, the threat of perfection. Let's be real with each other. When you stand in front of someone who is to perfect their beautiful, rich, talented, and never seem to make a mistake, how do you feel? Impressed? Sure. But deep down, do you feel a little distant, maybe even intimidated? In psychology, this is social comparison theory. When faced with such a superior figure, our ego's self-defense mechanism kicks in. Their perfection inadvertently becomes a mirror reflecting our own flaws. We feel small, inferior, and unsafe. They are like marble statues in a museum, beautiful to look at, but cold and untouchable. But when that statue sneezes or slips, a miracle happens. The psychological distance collapses. When the talented person spills their coffee, they send a powerful signal. Hey, I'm human too. I get embarrassed. I make mistakes just like you. That clumsiness transforms them from a god on a pedestal into a peer. It removes the threat. We breathe a sigh of relief because we no longer have to strain ourselves to cope with their perfection. Reason number 2, authenticity and trust. In a world where social media is flooded with heavily edited photos, and dazzling achievement boards. The human brain craves authenticity like a wanderer in the desert craves water. We have a natural radar for detecting fakes. Someone who acts perfect all the time often triggers our suspicion. Are they hiding something? No one is that nice. Perfection, ironically, often feels like a performance. Conversely, a small mistake, a moment of confusion, a pratfall moment is the most solid proof of reality. You can't naturally act out a blush of embarrassment. When you reveal a weakness, you are telling the world you have nothing to hide. And in psychology, vulnerability is the foundation of trust. Do you remember Jennifer Lawrence's legendary fall at the 2013 Oscars? She was walking up the stairs to accept the award for Best Actress at the peak of her career, and she tripped over her gown. Instead of trying to cover it up or act haughty, she buried her face in her hands and laughed, then got up to the podium and joked about it. The result? She wasn't mocked. On the contrary, the whole world fell in love with her. That moment made her more relatable and lovable than any perfect acceptance speech ever could. That is the power of the pratfall, however. And this is a massive however that you need to pay attention to. The pratfall effect is a double-edged sword. It has a prerequisite condition that is absolutely critical. If you ignore it, you're in trouble. Let's go back to Elliot Aronson's experiment. He didn't just have the scenarios. He had a third and a fourth. Scenario 3. A person of average ability who answers many questions wrong and does not spill coffee. Scenario 4. A person of average ability who answers many questions wrong and then spills coffee. Guess who was rated the lowest? The person in scenario 4, when someone is already perceived as incompetent and then acts clumsily. That clumsiness doesn't make them cute. It just confirms their incompetence. In this case, the spilled coffee isn't a charming quirk. It's the last straw. This teaches us a core lesson. Clumsiness is only charming when it is accompanied by real competence. You have to prove your value first. You have to be an expert in your field, a good friend, or a kind person. When your foundation of competence is solid, a small crack becomes an artistic highlight. But if the foundation is shaky, the crack will bring the whole house down. So, how can we ordinary people struggling with life's pressures apply this effect to be happier and more successful? Look at how we build relationships. Are you trying to impress your partner by hiding every flaw? Are you afraid that if they know you're terrified of spiders, have no sense of direction, or can't cook to save your life, they'll get bored of you? Psychovive advises you, don't do that. Perfection creates admiration, but vulnerability creates connection. When you dare to admit, I'm great at my job, but honestly, I'm hopeless at picking gifts, or I can solve any crisis at the company, but I always get lost in my own city. You are giving the other person an opportunity to help you, an opportunity to feel useful, an opportunity to see you as real. This applies to work and leadership as well. A boss who never admits fault is a scary and lonely boss, but a talented leader who has vision, yet dares to stand before their staff and say, I misjudged this project. I'm sorry, and I need your help to fix it. That is a leader who commands absolute respect and loyalty. Because they have triggered the pratfall effect, talent commands respect. But the humility to admit mistakes commands affection. But the deepest layer of this effect isn't about manipulating others to like us. It's about healing yourself. We are living in an era of anxiety. The pressure to be successful, to be beautiful, to be healed, to be positive. We torment ourselves at night over a slip of the tongue from 3 years ago. We are so afraid of making mistakes that we dare not start anything new. The pratfall effect is a gentle reminder from psychological science. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. In fact, your imperfections are the glue that binds you to humanity. Those scars, those stumbles, those silly moments, they aren't system errors. They are features. They make the story of your life rich, multidimensional, and worth reading rather than a blank, spotless page. Imagine you are a character in a movie. If the main character does everything right from start to finish, never gets in trouble, never gets embarrassed. That movie would be boring, right? Audiences love the protagonist because of the moments they mess up, regret, and grow. So, next time, if you happen to trip in front of a crowd, say the wrong line in a presentation, or burn dinner when meeting your partner's family, remember Elliot Aronson and the spilled coffee of 1966. Don't rush to retreat into a shell of insecurity. Laugh at your own silliness. Own that mistake. Say, oops, there goes my clumsiness again. When you accept your imperfections with confidence and competence, you radiate an irresistible charisma. It is the charisma of a real human being, strong yet soft, talented yet humble. Remember, people admire you for what you can do, but people love you for who you are, scratches and all. Don't try to be a monument. Be a human. Let the world see your cracks. Because as the legendary Leonard Cohen once wrote, there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Life is too short to play the role of a perfect person. Be talented, try your hardest, but also allow yourself to be wrong, to fall, and to laugh at that fall. If this video touched a hidden corner of your soul, or helped you feel a little lighter about a past mistake, please share your story in the comments. Psychovive is always here to listen, no judgment, just understanding. And don't forget, the journey to explore the human mind is endless and full of wonder. To make sure you don't miss out on deep psychological analyses that help you understand yourself and others better, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's turn psychology into medicine for the soul. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next story of the mind.